All right, welcome in. It is Wednesday. It's time for Total Bases. We're man down today. Bryan Leonard is on his way back to the West Coast. His time in Florida has come to an end. He's got a cross-country flight today. So TB and I are here together holding it down. Tokyo Brandon, how was your Tuesday?
It was all right. Kind of broke even. I needed the Braves to win.
Oh,
and
so did I.
You were on them too. I saw that. I needed, if the Braves had won, I would have been up like 7% on the day because I parlayed Milwaukee and Atlanta for plus 250 on a 2% play. And that would have got me about 7% plus 6.5. But Atlanta, man, we can argue for days and days, but in the ninth inning, when you got a guy, in the 10th inning, when you got a guy on second with no out, you have to bunt. You have to. You just have to. I'm sorry. If you need a run, you have to. So,
you know what? I had a different game planned for the future game. I want to stay on this game because I didn't even realize you were on that game last night. That was my 4% play. That was my $5 Tuesday play. I did go 2-0 on smaller plays. So I got out slightly ahead for yesterday going 2-1. But that ruined a sweep for me. And TB, I echo your sentiment there completely, especially when you're up against Mason Miller. I mean, if you're against Mason Miller in the 10th inning, you should be going bunt, you should go bunt, and then you should go suicide squeeze. Like, you're not getting.
Yes. Yeah. Look, I don't want to drag on too long, but mathematics tells you, look, if you bunt that guy to third base, the chances of a successful bunt are higher than 90%. And then the chances of him scoring are almost 80%. So you're forcing the other team to score 2 runs to beat you. And the chances of the other team scoring 2 runs is less than 30%. You have to bunt that guy to third base. You have to. So I'm sorry. Yeah, maybe it's not a manly.
No, it's okay.
It's not manly, and everyone wants to be a studly hero or something, but you're going to lose the game that way. So be a stud.
It's okay. I want
to. Sure.
We're going to stay on the game, but I got to go to the chat for a second. So Adam here, 2-1. When I come on, when we come on and talk about what our record was, we're only referencing client plays that are part of the service at WagerTalk. Yeah. We're not talking about plays that were given out on the show for free. Anytime we come on and reference our record, that is entirely the plays that we bet. And the plays that I bet are the plays that I bet everything I give out. So I just want to make something clear. Yeah, we did not hit the parlay last night. I gave Guardians out as part of the parlay, but I do understand that some people watch this show on YouTube and maybe don't understand that, when we refer to WagerTalk is where all of our picks are. It is the only place to get picks for myself and Tokyo Brandon. And when we reference our record from the previous night, it is the plays we've given out there. TV, go ahead. Do you want to add something to that?
Yeah, there's a difference between what we give our paid subscribers and what we give free stuff mongers. And free stuff mongers don't get the good stuff. I'm sorry, guys. That's just the way it is.
Not always. Not always. Listen,
we're not giving. Yeah. Our opinions on each game is worth something because we honestly believe that our name is on our opinion. Okay, so we're not just throwing stuff out and we don't care. But the premium stuff is what we give to paid clients. So when we say we were 2-1 yesterday, we're not including the free stuff monger stuff.
Yeah, but now I try to give out, if I have a play I can give out for free, I always try to do that. Sometimes, like in the case of today, I haven't locked anything in yet. So we may talk about something that makes my client card. TV, I want to stay Braves Padres for a second. I was going to go in a different direction, but I want to talk about this game tonight because, the Padres, I guess I'll tip the cap to the Padres. I felt like they kind of maybe went all in a little bit to win that game last night. So, of course, the reason Tokyo Brandon and I came on this show and started with a vent session is because last night the Braves, they go up 4-0. They blow a 4-0 lead. They take a 6-5 lead, and then Fernando Tatis ties the game with a home run. The game goes to extra innings. The thing that was super surprising to me and where the handicap starts for me here on this game today, the Padres left Mason Miller out there for 2 innings, and that was his 3rd day of work in 4 days. That was surprising to me. When they brought him out for the 9th, I said, okay, he's coming out for the 9th. he's going to try to get them to extra innings, and then they're going to roll the dice. And then all of a sudden, he has a pretty quick 9th inning, and then he's back out there for the 10th. So TB, like he's probably not pitching today. That's a 2-inning outing yesterday, 3 in 4 days. Kind of makes me want to run it back with the Braves here.
Well, I mean, they got the win for it, so it paid off for them. So my motto in baseball, if I were a manager, would be win today, think about tomorrow. Okay. And that's what the Padres were thinking. And they got a win for it. They were rewarded. So the Padres remain my kryptonite. I cannot win a Padres game to save my life. And I should have known better. Actually, I should have taken Atlanta plus 1.5 because it was a parlay. But anyways, I don't generally do a lot of parlays, by the way. That was just one that I thought, hey, I can gain 7% risking too. I'll give it a shot because I was pretty confident the Brewers were going to win yesterday. So anyways, back to this game. Atlanta is not hitting very well at all, but they started to light it up again yesterday. Neither one of these teams actually hitting very well. Atlanta's bullpen's performing better despite yesterday's antics. Look, Sears is a guy I liked 2 seasons ago. He was pitching pretty well for the A's, right? He was their ace, as a matter of fact. And he was was it 2 years, maybe 3 years ago? But anyway, now I don't know what to expect. He's back from a long absence. Martin Perez, man, he drank from the fountain of youth or something because he's dealing right now. I think it's a Braves day today. I agree with you on that. Plus, Padres bullpen depleted. Atlanta's bullpen is depleted as well, but I think the Padres bullpen is a little more top heavy with less depth. So yeah, I would agree with your assessment.
Yeah, I mean, listen, JP Sears, he's been down at El Paso. Yeah, you are right. He did have a nice little run with the A's for a couple of seasons. This year, he hasn't looked great in my opinion. Anytime I've watched him pitch this year for El Paso, he's been very average. The Padres I don't think are necessarily committed to him. Like going super deep into this game. Maybe they piggyback him with another sort of bulk guy. That was one thing I wasn't exactly sure how the Padres were going to go with their pitching today. But it does look like it's at least going to be Sears to start. I tell you, like, there's no way I could do anything other than run it back with the Braves. Like you said, Martin Perez has been pretty impressive. Even though he's a guy that I've been against at times over the last couple of years. He's having a really nice season. He pretty much outdueled Jacob Mizorowski in his last start. I mean, there's no question that the Braves have the better pitching setup here. And that also is why it's so shocking to me that we lost that game yesterday. Because, here are the Braves. They're in perfect position to win a game, even after J.R. Ritchie has the bad inning. He locks in, he gives them 5 innings. They then get the ball to the bullpen with the lead. I'll tell you, watching that game and sort of replaying the how that game played out, I think the Braves manager might want to have that one back. I think he maybe would want to move on from Carrasco. He left Carlos Carrasco in for a second inning with a fully fresh bullpen. I feel like 8 times out of 10, the Braves probably win that game. And so, again, I like them. I think they maybe atone for some of those mistakes here. And the good news is if you do get to the end of the game today, you're probably not going to have to face Mason Miller. And I think that is a very, very big key. So, yeah, I'm looking at the Braves here as well.
By the way, I was watching that game in a movie theater. I saw the movie Michael. What a great movie. Look, I'm a heavy metal freak, but even I like Michael Jackson's music. That guy transcends humanity. That guy was amazing. Love Michael Jackson. Great movie, too. His nephew did a great job in that portrayal. So, good movie.
I have not been to the movie theater in forever.
That's
something I'm going to get out and get to a movie at some point. I cannot remember the last movie I saw in the theater.
I felt like a senior citizen because they hand you these trays now that you can hang on your armrest, and I didn't know how to hang it. I had to ask the young girl next to me how to hang it on. She's like, "Just do it like this." I was like, "Okay." That's funny.
That's awesome. I'm obviously going for the popcorn and the Diet Coke. Like I'll be happy just being there with a huge popcorn and a massive Diet Coke. But I haven't been to the movie. I literally cannot tell you the last time I went to the movie theater, and now I want to go. Now you got me all fired up. I want to go.
It's a great movie, actually. But
maybe I'll go see that.
It was kind of curious. They cut it off right after he releases the album Bad. So it's cut off in 1988, I believe. So there'll be a part 2, I imagine, when he turns his face all white and gets a lot of plastic surgery. So great human being. Oh, man, I love Michael Jackson. Even though I'm a heavy metal guy, love his songs. So
Lucas Salvatore in the chat says that movie was legit. All right. I've got to, I'm going to have to get out and see that. And just to put a bow on the first game we talked about, it's Braves or pass for me. And it's one that I'll probably give some consideration throughout the day. I felt like the number was probably close to being right, but hey, let's see if the Padres take some money today. Braves is absolutely worth a look. All right, let's go back to the chat here. Let's go back. Okay, well, let's do the game that I was going to kick off the show with. You can find this game on your Amazon Prime app if you are in the States. Prime Video is one of the ways to watch Yankees Tigers tonight. And Tokyo Brandon, this is an interesting one because the Yankees very lethargic on Monday, kind of no-showed in that game. I don't think we talked about this one on the show yesterday, but I sort of thought they would bounce back and find a way to win. They did find a way to win. 4-3, sort of grinded out a tough victory there. Here, they get to, they go up against the ace of the Tigers and one of the best pitchers in Major League Baseball, in Tariq Skubal, but he's coming back from injury. And if you've watched him since he's returned from injury so far, which again, the injury he came back from, which was to have some stuff cleared out of his elbow, I believe, is something that guys typically don't come back from this quickly. And, he's was able to get back in about a month, but the guy that's been on the mound the last 2 times out has not looked like the Tariq Skubal that we are accustomed to. So my question to you is, when does that happen? When do we get the ace Tariq Skubal, and is he overvalued because of that right now?
I think we'll see him today. If you take a look at how he's performed against these Yankee batters in his history, it's been very, 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 very good. So generally a 750 OPS means a 750 OPS or less means you're getting the best of the batters, and his is 473. So batting average of 167 and 60 at bats against. Excellent numbers. But Ryan Weathers, on the other hand, has great numbers against these Detroit Tigers, who have just terrible bat. I mean, this team is just, I'm sorry, but look, they're not very good. But he has good numbers against these Yankees, man. A 0.71 average and a 143 OPS. Small sample size, so that's a little less trustworthy than Skubal's, but I would approach this Yankees team total under in the first 5, maybe under 1.5, or full game under. I got burned on the Yankees yesterday. I took them over 1.5 in the first 5, and they ended up scoring 3 in the 6th. So, yeah, I just been getting burned on silly stuff like that right now. But I think the Yankees are going to have a very hard time putting runs up against it. Maybe a first 5 under 4.5. I might go. Maybe that's
Yeah, listen, it's a good talking point. The Yankees have really not hit for a few days now. That was really the thing that scared me off of them yesterday. After watching the game on Monday, I'm like, man, this team just isn't hitting right now. And that, and then of course you go back to Judge not being in the lineup, and the fact that, like, they had their little run for a couple of weeks, but really the last 5 years, they've been a sub 500 team without Aaron Judge. And that was a concern to me. Yes, they did finally have their inning. Unfortunately, TB, it couldn't have come an inning sooner for you. But still, only scored 4 runs. Had to gut out like a hard fought close win. Here's my problem with Skubal right now, though. And again, Trig is not a doctor, so I don't know these things, but I do know, based on a little bit of research, that coming back from arthroscopic surgery where you have bone chips removed from your pitching elbow should take much, much, much longer than what Skubal just came back from. Like, it's remarkable that he is back. Not only is he back on the pitching mound today, but that he's been back. This is his third start since coming back. So here's the timeline. He had surgery on May 6th. Okay. I think this is something that usually takes a couple months to come back from at minimum. He was back pitching in A-ball, one rehab start on June 7th. He threw 5 innings, one rehab start. He's been back ever since. So in his 2 starts since he's come back, not great. 4 2/3, 3 runs, 5 hits. And then last time out against the White Sox, 5 2/3, 3 runs, 7 hits, which for an average person is a fine start. For Tariq Skubal is you just expect better from him. But like, I guess the point is, like, I still feel like I'm watching a rehabbing Tariq Skubal try to pitch against Major League hitting. And now he's pitching against the Yankees. That's the hang up here for me. Because I do agree with you. Like, the second that I go and try to fade this guy, he's going to come out and throw a 7-inning, 1-hit gem. And he was fired up in that game against the White Sox. I mean, this is not a guy that was out there going through the motions. He was looking into the White Sox dugout, chirping them, slapping his glove, got a huge strikeout with bases loaded. Man, I don't know what to do here because of that. It's a very interesting game. I will say this. I think the total might be a tad low, and maybe you get the runs today because I do think he gives something up. So I'll get for the sake of giving a pick here, TV, I'm going to say Yankees Tigers will go over in this game.
Interesting. Okay. Let's move on.
And the reason, we'll move on. I guess the last thing I'll say about it, and the reason I'm going there is you can probably find an over 7. Even over 7.5 is even money, plus 105 some places. And I just think that you are paying for the ace Skubal, and I just don't think he's the ace yet. And then if the Yankees, of course, let's say that their bats woke up late yesterday and now all of a sudden they have a crooked number, the Tigers can score a little bit. 7.5 is a low number in my opinion for this game. So yeah, I'll go over there for my pick for that game.
Interesting.
All right, let's move it along. Let's go back to the chat. I'm going to go to Thomas Hale. This one's very intriguing game right here. Mariners Pirates is I got to be honest. I mean, I love Braxton Ashcraft. He's my guy. I like him as much as anyone out there, can like Braxton Ashcraft. I've been driving the Ashcraft bandwagon since he got called up last year. But Tokyo Brandon, I was a little surprised to see the Seattle Mariners are an underdog at a Pirates team that doesn't have Connor Griffin and that doesn't have O'Neal Cruz. So Mariners Pirates to you, did that surprise you as well to see the Mariners come in as a dog here?
Very, because just taking a look at these teams, the Mariners are a little bit better put together team. But they are 19-20 on the road. Pittsburgh's 20-20 at home. But, if you look at the records, the teams are not really that much. There's not a lot of separation. There's only 2-win separation between them. And the Pirates are batting number 8 in MLB right now, while I have the Mariners batting 28th. So actually, I've got Ashcraft ranked higher than Wu as well. So, I was surprised to see the books agree with me on this because I think the Pirates should be a slight favorite as well. The bullpen is the problem for them. Their bullpen's ranked quite low according to my rankings, where Seattle's is ranked quite high. So, kind of surprised. Let's do a promo real quick. You can get a double play, 2 of us 3 for 3 days. Huge discount. And if you only like one capper at WagerTalk, you can get 3 days for 30% off. And you can also get 6 days for the price of 3. Lots of good deals at WagerTalk. So go to wagertalk.com. I already have a 4% play out in MLB today. So maybe you can guess which one it is by the way we cover this for absolutely free and spend lots of time preparing for this to catch a lot of flack and BS from free stuff mongers.
It's all good. Listen, it comes with the territory. The fact that, like I always say, head on over to the replay, drop us a comment on the YouTube channel, good, bad, and different. I want to hear all the comments. I'm going to respond accordingly, of course, but yeah, good, bad, and different. We want the feedback. We want the feedback. And, no, I'm just saying, like, I'll get into a back and forth with someone if I'm just going to state my case and move on with my day. But yeah,
you're much more of a gentleman than I am. I don't like taking flack from. I spend a lot of time, and I've been number one 3 of the last 5 years, and I don't need to catch crap because I lost 1 free play. So that's way.
Well, I mean, that's you. That's that's you. That's you stating your position. I have no problem with that.
Yes, sir.
As far as this game is concerned, so here's the tough part with the Pirates. You are correct. Pirates, their team-wide WRC plus this year has been top 10 all year. Very, very impressive. Very, 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 very impressive. Without a doubt. Here's what I can't get. This is what I can't get over with the Pirates, because O'Neal Cruz Jr. and Connor Griffin are arguably their 2 best players. Cruz certainly is. Griffin probably has the upside of being their best player, probably will be their best player for a long time. However, you still look at the lineup. There's still, like, Horwitz is having a good season. Brandon Lau is having a great season. Bryan Reynolds is having a good season. But when you start to get past those top 3, it's a lot of like 700 OPS guys. Nick Gonzalez, Ryan O'Hearn, Rodriguez the catcher. Marcell Ozuna is having an awful season. 598 OPS coming into play. Jake Mangum, 705 OPS. Triolo, 582. So I look at that and I just say to myself, there is absolutely no way that the Pirates, without Griffin and Cruz, can stay in the upper echelon of MLB teams offensively. They just simply cannot with that lineup. Whereas the Mariners, they haven't really hit either. Not to the point, like, Cal Raleigh has been horrible this season relative to what he was last year. They've had some guys banged up, but at least I can kind of see it with them from an offensive standpoint. And then, I know Brian Woo's got blown up a couple of times, but I still think Woo and Ashcraft kind of offset. This is a guy like Brian Woo is, even with some of his bad starts, because he's had those couple like blow up type starts, still comes in at about a strikeout an inning and a 1 whip. Like, he's still having a good year. His ERA is still sub 4. So I look at these 2 guys side by side and I start to try to piece it together, where it's like, I still think the Mariners have the better lineup. I still think they are the higher upside team, especially when Griffin and Cruz are not on the field. I still think Woo and Ashcraft are about even, and I'd probably give the Mariners the bullpen nod. Mariners can't be an underdog here. I lean toward the Mariners plus 103. Possible that's my parlay leg, but since it's just 2 of us today, I want to see what else comes up. But yeah, it would be the Mariners or pass for me. Again, both teams used some pen arms last night, but neither bullpen is like totally taxed. Probably another under as well. It was 3-2 last night. Hard to believe that there is a ton of scoring in this game. So good one. Good chat right there.
Yeah.
About that game. I'll answer this. Vita asked, what's the Pirates bullpen situation? They had a couple of their leverage arms, I think, in late last night, but I'll be honest. This was one I sort of had. I didn't watch every pitch of this game. I had other plays going on that I was more focused on, but I will find it for you here real quick. So the Pirates last night, they used 3 bullpen arms. They did use Santana at the end, but like nothing crazy. I wouldn't say that the Pirates had a like stressed bullpen coming into this game. I think you can expect the right guys pitching in the right situation for the Pirates here. Okay, TB, let's go to Alex Rand. Alex Rand says, do the Guardians get swept in this series? Frustrating. I'm frustrated with myself yesterday because I give the Guardians out as a pick on the show, but the day before I said I was looking for spots to play the White Sox in this series. So I kind of contradicted myself, and now the White Sox are sitting there and they've won both games of this series so far, Tokyo Brandon, and I've made a whopping $0 on that opinion. So frustrating to me that the White Sox have taken the first two games of the series and that I wasn't on them for either. But that being said, kind of feel like I missed my chance to play it. So Guardians, White Sox to you. How do you see Guardians, White Sox?
Yeah. These teams have equal records, which is kind of amazing. And the White Sox, they're 26-12 at home. And since losing Murakami, their number one home run hitter, they've actually been better, which is kind of weird. They're playing really well right now, but Fetty is not. And I kind of like Tanner Bybee. As a matter of fact, I put out, let's see, what did I put out today? Oh, I put out my walks on my Twitter X. But if you take a look at the OPS ranking matchups, Tanner Bybee's number one on the list. He handles these White Sox pretty well in his career, these White Sox batters. Neither bullpen's performing very well. I have them both ranked 2021 range. But Bybee over Fetty for sure. I don't think we're going to see a sweep here. I think the Guardians at least take one. And there is something about ebbs and flows of baseball. When a team already secures the series, the manager is less likely to use his leveraged arms to scratch back when you're down by 1 or 2 runs. So they're pretty happy to just toss that game and look forward to tomorrow. So this is just human nature. It's the ebb and flow of baseball. So yeah, I think the Guardians will take this one.
I agree with a couple of the things so I want to touch on a couple of the things you pointed out. First
Which
of all,
ones do you not agree with? No, I'm just
no. I listen. You said
joking.
these two teams are even. I don't think you can find a more even matchup. Like this is as competitive and even of like a matchup in a series that I think you're going to find. I think they're very similar. Now, they're not similar teams in terms of like the Guardians, better pitching, better small ball. The White Sox, as you pointed out, Murakami goes down. That I can explain. And it has nothing to do with Murakami not being a great player. It's just the Murakami injury coincided with the Jacob Gonzalez and Braden Montgomery call-ups, two guys that are like, really like young studs, guys that are just like, in my opinion, we're always going to be good players. And now they're getting their opportunity because Murakami's spot in the lineup was open. So again, the White Sox have a ton of good young talent. They're going to get Kyle Teal back. I actually didn't even see so Kyle Teal played last week. And then earlier, I believe he played on Sunday for Charlotte. And I didn't go back to check. I don't think he's played yet for the White Sox, but keep an eye on him. He had a really good week of rehab at Charlotte. You put Kyle Teal back in the catcher position. That's an upgrade for the White Sox. So a really good team, a really good lineup. That being said, TB, you're absolutely right. Tanner Bybee has done well against these hitters, and he has been phenomenal of late. This is a guy that you want to talk about bad luck. Tanner Bybee, I believe, started the year 0-7, I think. And again, win-loss records don't mean much for starting pitchers. But that's still kind of unlucky because, the guy's throwing the ball pretty solid overall this season. Like, to have been 0-7 is pretty unlucky. His last couple starts, he's been fantastic. Since the calendar flipped to June for Bybee, he has a 132 batting average against, a 0.74 whip, 8 strikeouts against the Tigers. Last time out, 7 strikeouts against the Astros. He looks like prime Tanner Bybee. And I don't know if I want to bet against that, also needing a team to sweep. So it'd be Guardians or pass for me here, but it's probably going to be a pass because I don't really want to go against the White Sox. They're playing great ball. They're finding ways to win games.
By the way, guys, double play. You can get 2 of us 3. There's only 2 of us today, but you can get that for 3 days. Huge discount. I put my strikeout, outs, and walks projections for every starter. It's actually on my YouTube channel, not my X today. So if you want to see that, go check that out.
Colsey says Colson Montgomery home run against Bybee. I'll tell you what, if I was going to pick someone to do it, that's who I would pick. So good luck
Who
if you
names
play
the kid Colson?
I think
Sounds like
I feel like I think Colson's like becoming a more popular name
Is
in
it?
with the people that are like,
I'm an old
younger
guy.
generation now. I think I've seen some Colsons lately.
I see.
Um,
Interesting.
yeah.
Sounds like Colson.
Oh,
Okay.
Vita, thank you so much for the donation. He says, appreciate the response. Keep up the good work. We appreciate you. All the donations to the show go to a charity that WagerTalk picks. Our home office does a lot of charity work, and all the YouTube donations from every show on the platform go to charity. So thank you very much for that. I am going to go. Tokyo Brady, do you want to throw a game out there that maybe you want to use for the parlay?
Let's see. I don't have one in mind yet, but
Do you want? I'll go first. I'll go first.
Go for it.
Yeah, let me go first. So I was I have a couple. So again, I'll go to this one. I haven't decided which game I want to use for the parlay yet, but I'm gonna talk about one that I'm considering, and we've already talked about a couple others that I'm considering. So the game I want to talk about here, these two teams let us down a little bit yesterday. I was right with you. I thought Diamondbacks Cardinals was going to produce far more runs than it did. The runs came at the end of the game, though. Like it was, I just wasn't expecting 0-0 that long. But the runs did come at the end of the game. Unfortunately, the Cards, all they needed was one more, and we would have been guaranteed to hit that over as part of the parlay. But they couldn't get it, and the final ends up being 4-3. Today, it looks like the Diamondbacks. So they've sort of been in. They're trying to find a fifth starter at this point. They called up Gene Cabrera over the weekend. I believe I believe they're going to have him pitch out of the bullpen, even though he was starting games at Reno. Today, they're going to go with someone named Mitch Brott, who's probably, I would say, has been Reno's best pitcher for most of this season. He's actually had a really good season at the minor league level. I bet on him over the weekend. Or last week at one point, pitched pretty good at AAA so far this year. And this is going to be his major league debut. So I felt like people would want to talk about this game. He 2.84 ERA, a 0.95 WHIP. Believe he is actually someone they got in the Merrill Kelly trade when they originally traded him over to the Rangers. And he's kind of a guy that I've been waiting for them to call up and make his big league debut. So for me right there, I've talked about the Cardinals being a little bit overvalued just in general. And this is a guy that I think is probably, he's a left-handed pitcher. I don't think they're going to have know much about him. And I kind of think he's going to throw the ball well. I'm gravitating toward the D-backs. They were another team that I saw as a slight underdog that I disagreed with. So I like Arizona here. Talk to me about Cardinals and maybe give me the Matthew Liberatore side of the argument. Do you like the D-backs or do you like the Cardinals here?
Don't like either. I think the over is going to be the way to go in this one. I actually parlayed yesterday. I parlayed this game with another one, and I won it. But I had this game over 6.5, and it was 0-0 going into the ninth inning. The other piece of that was, I believe, was the Guardians game, first five under 4.5, which won. So put them together, I got a plus 120 or something win. Unreal. But these have gone under 2 games in a row, and I don't think they're going to go under 3 in a row. Guy making his debut, he's probably going to have a short leash if he gets into trouble, because coaches like to protect those guys in that situation. They don't want to destroy their confidence before their career gets started. So they generally protect him a little bit. So let's say he gives up 2 runs and he gets a guy on first and second with no outs. He might come out of the game in the 3rd or 4th inning. We don't know, but it's a likely scenario. Neither bullpen I like. As we saw yesterday, we had 2 guys who are just not good pitchers come out and look like Tom Seaver versus Greg Maddux for 8 innings. And then the bullpens came in and gave up 7 runs in about 5 seconds. So these bullpens are going to get worked again today, but I think we will see the bullpens earlier than we did yesterday, because Liberatore has horrible stats against these Diamondbacks. He's actually having a horrible season if you look at his expected numbers. Plus, we got a rookie making his debut who actually, when these guys make their debut, it's usually one or the other. He comes out dealing, but he's only going to be dealing for 4 or 5 innings because they're not going to leave him in very long. So I think we'll see a lot of bullpen action, and I think we'll see them start gacking the game away a lot quicker than the 9th inning like yesterday.
TV, I agree with you that the 9 flat, over 9 flat makes a lot of sense.
I agree.
Listen, Brot, I like him in the respect that I think he can go 3 or 4 innings, but you're right about that. I don't think he's gone past 5 innings at the AAA level this year. He was always, I don't think I'm trying to think back to last year, like when he was still in the Rangers organization and stuff. I feel like they used him out of the bullpen occasionally. I think that's what you can expect from him today. Maybe once through the order, maybe into the 4th. If he's really cruising, they'll probably let him go into the 5th, but I think that's about what you're going to see from him. And then, of course, the Diamondbacks, their bullpen can be suspect. We saw it last night. The Cardinals bullpen has been an issue for a few days now. They had a situation over the weekend where they could not, they had a hard time closing out a couple of different games against the Royals. Sunday's the game I'm thinking about, where they ended up winning 12-10, but ended up cooking a lot of their bullpen in the process. Last night, all 7 of those runs came in the 9th inning. What an over that would have been to get over in the 9th inning when it was 0-0 going into the 9th. But the Diamondbacks ended up having to use some leverage arms there to close out a 4-3 win. So I do think this ends up, my number projection here was 9.2. So slightly on the plus side there, if you like the over. But I'm going to go back to something you said, and I will make this my parlay leg. I'm going to take Diamondbacks on the money line. Going to bring that list back up that I've referenced a couple of times. Expected batting average against, 291. Matt Liberatore. Big time danger zone. Expected ERA is 5.77. And Bryan Leonard, our guy Bryan Leonard, who's traveling today, said, well, I don't put too much stock into the expected batting average and the expected ERA unless it's paired with some other poor metrics. The one he referenced yesterday was exit velocity and hard hit. Average exit velo, Matt Liberatore, bottom 3% of the league. He's giving up more hard hit than just about anyone in Major League Baseball. So the Diamondbacks have a solid lineup. I think they get to that. I think they get to him, and I think they find a way to win. So I will put D-backs. We can call it even money, although I still think you can find like maybe plus 101, plus 102, plus 103 some places, but I'm going to call it even money for the parlay. I see I actually see plus 101 to 103 pretty much everywhere. For the parlay, we'll call it even money just to be fair. That is my leg of the parlay for today.
Sounds good. I think an over would be for this game. I have come up with my leg of the parlay.
All right, take it away.
Switch gears?
Yeah, take it away.
Okay. I think right now, the absolute worst team in all of Major League Baseball is the Cincinnati Reds. They are so bad right now. And they're the only team that I have using all of my scout rankings. They're the only team that ranks 25th or worse in every single category. That team is horrific. So I'm going to go with the Brewers here. We do have Drohan, small sample size, kind of unproven, but I've liked what I've seen from him. And the Brewers are just a much better team. 48-29. I mean, can't argue with that. Wins are not everything. I understand that. But this Cincinnati team is just horrible. I got the Brewers bullpen ranked 8, and I got the Brewers bats ranked 9. So they're top 10 in both of those categories. Cincinnati's just atrocious. So give me the Brewers all day, even though I don't really wholeheartedly trust the pitcher, but it's got to be better than anything that's on Cincinnati's side. So that's how I'm going to go.
Yeah, it's an interesting, Cincinnati's an interesting team because they get Ellie back. So Ellie De La Cruz is back. That certainly helps. But even when he was there prior to him going on the IL, they were still near the bottom of the league in WRC plus. It's still not the most impressive lineup, yet here they are, like taking 2 of 3 from the Yankees over the weekend. They come in 37-41. Tough luck for them so far in this series to lose 2-1 and then 2-0. But I also think the flip side of that is, well, the Reds didn't hit, and that's their issue. Like, this is not a great lineup. As far as Shane Drohan is concerned, he's a guy I think I don't mind him. So TB, I don't mind that you're sort of targeting him here as the guy that you would want to back. A couple of reasons, like I don't think the Brewers are super committed to him going like real far into this game. He has been been a starter. So, he's been a starter for them the last few times out. He was a guy that pitched out of the bullpen the entire month of May. And since June 1st, he started 4 straight games in a row, 6.1, 6 1/3, 5 innings. Feel like he's probably going to give up like 2 or 3 runs. So then you just have to ask yourself, like, are the Reds I guess that's the question here. Can the Reds come out and just blank this Brewers offense? I mean, Rhett Lauder is like, again, this came up last time. We talked about Lauder. Like, I still have high hopes for Rhett Lauder. But, even in that game, the game we talked about the last time he pitched, when he pitched against the Yankees, still gave up 4 runs in 5 1/3. This is a guy that has really had like big time injury issues, since this, he's still very young, right? I think he was the guy that pitched against Skeens in the College World Series, and it was Lauder versus Skeens, and he was the other big time pitcher in that draft, first round, 7th overall pick for the Reds. He's been derailed by injuries. If the Brewers can generate a little offense off of him, I think you're on the right side. I think they'll probably win the game. It's a tricky game for sure, but in the Brewers, like, how many times have we talked about the Brewers this year being like a team that could factor into the NL championship picture? You're catching them at -140 here.
Yeah,
I could see it.
Cincinnati,
I can see it for sure.
The red flag is, as I spoke about earlier, the ebbs and flows. Ever since my days as a scout, it's just human nature. But it's very hard to sweep a team in Major League Baseball. Number one, the talent level. I can say Cincinnati's atrocious all I want, but they're still a hell of a lot more talented than if you put them in AAA or if you put them in the KBO or something like that. They would absolutely trounce those teams. So they are atrocious on a Major League Baseball perspective. Let me clarify. So that's one thing. And the other thing is, like I said earlier, if you're down by 1 or 2 runs and you really need that game, you're going to use everything you got to get those runs back. But if you've already won the series, look, these teams come into a 3-game series with the mindset of let's win the series and move on. Let's win the series and move on. They've already won the series. So let's move on is already in the back of their head. So it's just the ebb and flow of baseball. It's very difficult to sweep a team. It really is.
Yeah, that's certainly going to be. I'm going to keep my eye on the Reds today because, like, I would potentially like to play the Reds at some point in their series with the Pirates, just because. Listen, Ellie De La Cruz. Not only, I mean, we know he's one of the the better players in Major League Baseball at this point. He's a star, but the Reds and how poor that lineup has been. Getting a guy like that back is a really big deal. So, like, that's it. But I just don't know if it's going to matter here. The Brewers are just one of those teams that it's like, it's a good baseball team that finds ways to win. They've done it the last 2 days. Really hard to go against them, in my opinion. So, so we've got the 2-teamer. I think we've got time. I think we've got time for one more game.
Sure.
I'll try to pick. Okay.
I can go all day, just like my Sunday morning show. I go all day, man. But
today on today's we got to stick into the WagerTalk programming schedule on the weekday. So, but yeah, let's go. All right, the folks want a day game. There is day baseball today, so I'm gonna go to the chat and I'm gonna grab a day game. Let's go. Let's see what. I just want to make sure I've got the times right. Okay, we talked about a couple of the day games. All right, let's go Orioles Angels. That's a day game.
Sure.
You can go Orioles Angels. I got to be honest, I was a little surprised that the Orioles kind of just got slapped around the way they did last night. I did not really care for the pitching situation yesterday for the Angels, and they threw a kid in. They threw Ryan Johnson out there, 23-year-old kid. Numbers this year are horrific, and he kind of shut the Orioles down. And I'm wondering to myself, Tokyo Brandon, was that finally the letdown for the Orioles after the weekend they had against the Dodgers? Then they come out on Monday night and beat the Angels in a spot where everyone thought it was a letdown spot. Did they finally have their letdown last night? And how do you see this playing out today? Because, of course, today they're up against Jose Soriano, who's probably the best pitcher the Angels have to offer.
Yeah, but he's been I think he's a little overhyped. He's starting to come back to reality. Have you noticed that?
I agree with you. Yeah, could continue. Yeah. Keep going.
Because in the last couple of years, I wasn't a fan of his. And then suddenly at the beginning of this year, boom, he came out like he's Cy Young or something. But now he's coming a little back to reality. He's still a good pitcher. He's not, I'm not saying he's Alpo, but he's going to come back to reality. He's going to be a normal guy, you know? The funny thing is I have a real conflicting opinion here because I don't think the Orioles are the worst team between these two, but my numbers are screaming to take the Angels today. Hard to do that though. You know, Soriano's got good numbers, but his walk rate is way up there. I generally think of a 30 to 40% as being acceptable as far as percentage of walks to strikeouts. His percentage of walks to strikeouts is 63, and he's still got these really good numbers. I think eventually this house of cards is going to fall, and Soriano's going to get tagged up a couple times here. Could be today. I don't know though. My numbers really like the Angels here, but I'm not going to bet a team that's 33 and 48, even with Soriano on the mound. I'm just not going to do it. But if I had to or die, I would bet the Angels today.
My numbers are screaming at me to my numbers. Well, here's what they're saying. They're saying if you trust Trey Gibson, take the Orioles. And that is a major if, because of course, if you look at Trey Gibson's numbers at the big league level this year, not great, but the sample size is very, very small. And he's a guy that's like, in my opinion, he's 24 years old. He hasn't had a ton of time in the bigs yet. He's been very, very good at AAA. So my numbers are saying, well, the Orioles are the far superior of these two teams. Like that's something that I'm willing to, I'll die on that hill right there. I know that like to me, the Orioles are just a far better team than the Angels are. I still think that the Angels, especially without Mike Trout, if they're without him for a long period of time, are going to slowly regress into that league worst team that we thought they could have been coming into the season. The question is, you look at, Trey Gibson, the stats, the underlying metrics are not great. And he has had 7 starts at the big league level this year. But I kind of felt like he turned a little bit of a corner the last 2 times out. 7 strikes. So I'm just going to talk about quickly. He's had 6 starts at the big league level this year. The first 4, he was getting knocked around. Like he was given a lot of hard hit. He wasn't getting much swing and miss at all. Tokyo Brandon, the last 2 starts, his walk rate's up a little bit, but he's got 15 strikeouts in 9 1/3 innings. It's pretty impressive. Like all of a sudden he goes and it's against the Padres and the Dodgers. And all of a sudden this dude comes out, strikes out 7 against the Padres, strikes out 8 against the Dodgers. And here I am thinking like, you know what? I can live with a few walks if this dude's going to be racking up 8 strikeouts a game. And then I look at this Angels lineup, not impressive. And I'm like, you know what? If he throws the ball good today, the Orioles probably win this game. And right now they're like plus 110. Plus 115. I kind of, this is one I'll consider today. I like the Orioles quite a bit here. Don't think they should be underdogs to the Angels in this game. So yeah, this is another interesting, a lot of interesting games today.
I mean, they're the better team, but they're not hitting well, and so it's kind of hard to back them, especially with the unproven commodity on the mound. So, I I mean, I'd love to take them, but I just can't.
Yeah, I mean,
And
listen,
guys,
they
yeah,
they put up 12 runs on the Dodgers on Sunday. Didn't hit the ball last night, but 6 on Monday. Like I actually like this Orioles lineup. I think it's a good lineup.
yeah. I mean, the Angels have a couple good pieces too, even without Trout. But yeah, the over under on Trout getting injured mid-June. I think
You nailed that.
I would have had the before mid-June, so I would probably have lost that bet. He lasted longer than I thought he would. How do these guys have careers, man? The guy, you look at Mike Trout, he's built like a Mack truck, dude. How does that guy get injured so much?
Listen, the one final thing I'll leave you guys with from that Angels game, yesterday's lineup did not have a single starting player in it. And this is essentially the starting lineup that they're going to roll with going forward. Not one guy had a OPS higher than 786. Not one.
Wow.
Okay, I'm sorry, there was one, but it's Jose Siri, who's like a career minor leaguer pretty much, and was hitting 9th, and it hasn't had a huge sample at the big league level this year. That is a bad lineup. That is a bad baseball team. I don't think the Orioles should be an underdog there.
Sounds good.
All right.
Guys, get a double play.
Yeah, hit us with a promo.
Yeah, I'll be the promo guy. I'm dressed like a promo guy today. And by the way, Adam still hasn't dressed like me like he promised.
I gotta go up. I gotta go up my wardrobe. I don't have the outfit on hand to dress like that.
Yeah. 2 of us 3 for 3 days, huge discount. You can grab that. If you only like one of us, if you don't like me for my comments today, then get Adam for 3 days, 30% off.
You can still get Bryan too. Bryan's just on a plane back to Vegas, so we didn't want him missing his flight. So
let me say something in closing. I'm glad that you guys tune in. I don't hate everyone who doesn't buy my stuff. I don't like being criticized for giving free information out. That's my problem.
It comes, like I said, TB. We get to do this for a living, which is a privilege as well. So it does come with the territory.
Agree.
But listen, I'm also a big proponent. Like if I'll punch back with facts all day. That's what I do in the YouTube comments. So that's what I'm saying. Go to the YouTube comments. You have something to say. You want to get something seen. I'm going to get in there. I'm probably going to respond, and I feel like I'll give you a fair response. Actually, there's a lot of times. We have a lot of very intelligent viewers in the chat. There's a lot of times where I read something, I'm like, person was right. What are you going to do? Jason Lambert, I'll answer this question unequivocally for you. The Reds are a far better baseball team than the Angels. I don't think it's close. Like the Reds might not hit a ton. The Reds are so much better than the Angels. Like give it 2 months. Give it 2 months. Give it 2 months. The Reds will be 10 to 15 games higher than the Angels in the win-loss column. Like that's just a much better baseball team. The Angels are kind of a dumpster fire right now. It's only going to get worse, in my opinion, for them. Their lineup's starting to look like the Salt Lake Bees. So that's a problem. All right, one more time as we hit the door on the way out. 3-man show will be back tomorrow, 9 a.m. Eastern. Bryan will be back in Vegas. 2-teamer today. So hopefully we can knock this one off and get ourselves back in the win column. Straightforward. TB's going Brewers money line. I'm going to go Diamondbacks money line. That's your 2-team parlay. I will say this. Keep an eye on my free picks tab on my page. If I upgrade Diamondbacks to a client play, I will give that one for free. And I will note it on my free picks section of the WagerTalk page. So keep an eye on that because that's one I am considering playing. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. We very much appreciate all the comments, all the interaction, good, bad, or indifferent. And the 3 of us will be back tomorrow for another episode of Total Basis. Have a great day, everybody.